What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is our spoiler chat. Heavy on the spoilers for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange 2, WandaVision, the sequel, and the introduction of a character that we'll talk about after the thing because I don't want to spoil it. This has spoilers.
Leave now.
We get Nerdy Nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. I think they know that there are spoilers in this video, so we can finally talk about this movie as much as we want to.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the movie's crazy.
Yeah, this movie just never stops.
Yeah, there were people, I've seen reviews of this film where they're like, I don't know, it wasn't really that much madness. And I was like, what did you expect? Like, how much more could they... there are people who seem to think that, like, the movie would have been better if there was just more multiverses. And I was like, no.
No, we got to see the sequence where we saw some, like, really cool stuff. And that was enough for me because I think, like, doing whole sequences in, like, especially some of those worlds would have been too much. But this movie is wild. Like,
it's insane.
It's insane. It starts with this girl who can travel the multiverse.
And
casual.
We start the movie with a Multiverse Strange.
Yes, Multiverse Strange, who then tries to, like, kill this little girl.
But he's not wrong in the moment, right? And that's what's so, like...
That's why it's complicated.
And that's what I like about this movie, and why I think that this movie is going to be really... some people are not going to enjoy it, is that the movie starts with a Doctor Strange making a choice that is the hardest choice, the choice he doesn't want to make, but he makes it because... He wants to save the universe, and if the demon gets the girl's power, then the entire universe is in danger.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, he's right. And America Chavez is also right to feel betrayed, right? Like, every character is right in that moment, and that is good, fun storytelling because it's complicated, and it started the movie off in a place where I was like, oh, the alternate Doctor Strange is willing to kill a child. Oh, this is gonna be nuts.
But also, like, everything in this movie is very gray and complicated.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of black and white here. There is...
WandaVision is a bad person.
Sure. But the way that Elizabeth Olsen acts and and how you feel for her, like, yes, what she is doing is wrong, but you completely understand why. Like, that is incredible.
No, okay.
What?
We might be on different sides of this.
What?
Thank you, Java update. She's the bad guy.
She is absolutely the bad guy.
No, there's no gray area. She murders a lot of people.
Yes, she does horrible things, but I sympathize with her at the same time because she has, like, okay, I cannot imagine. I'm never having children. I cannot imagine what it would be like to have children and lose them and know, and I don't know why there are other children out there when she created them. That is very confusing to me. But knowing that they were still out there somewhere existing, and that on top of the, like, corruption of the Darkhold.
Well, but that's why I say that it's not that sympathetic to me, right? Is that she's not 100% in control of herself. Like, that she has been corrupted by an evil source.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me sympathetic towards her.
Oh, I guess I'm sympathetic towards Wanda, but I'm not sympathetic towards...
Her actions are wrong. She is undoubtedly the villain. Like, what she does is horrible. But, God, do I just love this character.
Yeah, and I think that what's interesting about it is I've already seen the people online who are like, I hate what they did with Wanda. Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, don't read the comics. Just, you'll be happier. Because this is what they do with Wanda. Like, this has kind of been, whether you agree with it or not, this has kind of been the plot function of the character since her inception.
Yeah.
She's not exactly a character who's known for making great choices. And she's not a character who's known for being a hero. She's not Captain America. And she has been a villain to the Avengers almost as many times as she's been an Avenger herself.
Yeah.
And I think that it wouldn't work if it weren't for Elizabeth Olsen's performance. Like, I think Elizabeth Olsen is so good in this movie that I really do love the choice that they made because it gave her the opportunity to play this incredibly complex, broken woman who really, you know, is just what... Because here's the problem, right? The problem with the Scarlet Witch is that if she's going to be the most powerful being in the galaxy, she can't be the hero.
Exactly.
Because that's boring. Like, if she has no...
When Captain Marvel is invincible, it's like, whatever. You know, like...
Yeah.
And because Captain Marvel, as far as I understand the character from what I have seen anyways, I'm not a comic book reader, she is always doing the right thing, right? Whereas with Wanda... She has all this power, and she's had the worst things happen to her in her life, and she can't handle it. And I'm like, fair. I don't think I could handle it either.
And she can't handle the power. I think that people like want her to be this like paragon, but the thing about
absolute power corrupts absolute.
That's what I was about to say. The thing about that is it doesn't just apply to the characters we don't like; it applies to the characters we like as well.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't really relate to what she's going through because we are not in a position where any of us could actually bring ourselves to a universe where we have our kids back.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not a realistic thing. And so to play out what would happen if someone had the ability to do that and a average normal mental framework of a normal human, the taste or the connection to that ability would eventually corrupt you to going after it. It just would, unless you're Steve Rogers and you're
unless
paradoxically good.
Yeah, unless you're like perfect, right?
Yeah.
And most people are not, which is also why like different versions of Strange have also made like detrimental mistakes.
I want to get into that because I don't think they have.
Okay, before we get into that, how does Wanda have children in other universes?
What do you mean?
She created them, right? So in other universes, she
has them.
Like normally?
Yeah.
So she created the same children.
Well, the movie sets up that the dream world is where you can broach other universes.
Yeah.
So I would assume that she has dreamt about those children from other universes where she envisioned had kids. And in that, she interpolated out those dreams into real children in the universe that she created them in WandaVision.
Okay, but also, how does Vision make real children?
Magic.
Okay.
We're talking about witches.
I'm just checking.
AI that's based on magic space rocks. So cool. I'm going to say I wouldn't worry too much about the anatomy.
I would like a diagram,
when we're talking about a movie
please.
Where Doctor Strange animates his own corpse from another dimension.
I'm just saying, I would like a diagram.
I just feel like if we're worrying about how a robot and a witch have a child...
That is a valid question.
No, it's kind of not.
Yeah, does he produce sperm?
Okay, we currently live in a time in American history, in real world, where scientists can take a ovum from a woman and turn it into a sperm and impregnate another woman.
That's cool.
And you're worried about whether or not in a fictional universe where they have literal magic, a robot that is made from a space rock can impregnate a witch.
I'm just saying, in the infinite multiverse, these kids somehow come to be very often, and it's
in the infinite multiverse, they would.
All right.
In the infinite multiverse, you and I have children. I know. I know.
All right, moving on.
Wow. I did not expect that to be the question they asked. Okay.
I was wondering the entire movie.
So Defender Strange, who is based on the 2011 Defenders run, he pops, he dies.
Yeah.
And America Chavez gets really scared. And
winds up in our world.
Pops into our universe. That's what I was trying to say. And she immediately runs into Doctor Strange and Wong because Doctor Strange is going to Christine's wedding. She's getting married to a dude
who's a big fan of Doctor Strange.
Any lines?
Yeah, no lines, but he's a big fan of Doctor Strange. Yeah. We do know that.
And so Doctor Strange is understandably melancholy. I really like the shot. There's the shot of the camera like spins into Defender Strange as he dies, and then it's the spin of the camera over the bed as Doctor Strange wakes up.
Yeah.
That was well done. So Doctor Strange is understandably upset that the love of his life is getting married, but he can't be the one to marry her because he's an Avenger who has to save the universe sometimes. Yep. And so the wedding's going well. They have a conversation where he's like, "Hey, like
Very mature."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm sorry. Like I still love you, but like I'm happy that you're happy."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Are you happy?" And he's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then before he has to extrapolate on that, Gargantos starts attacking America Chavez in the streets.
Oh, it has a name.
Yeah. I think it's Gargantos.
I don't know. It's a weird octopus thing.
I hope it's Gargantos. And
it's a demon from another world who is chasing America Chavez because of her power. Yeah. And when America first introduced herself, I heard, "I'm Erica." And then the next couple times when people were saying her name, I'm like, why are they saying her name so weird? But it's because they were calling her America, and I fucked up.
I'm really proud of you in this moment. For that one.
Honesty. Honesty is the best policy.
So understandably, Doctor Strange needs to fight Gargantos, and we get an incredible shot that is just so Sam Raimi of Doctor Strange leaping off the balcony, and the guy next to him immediately like has his phone out and is recording the situation.
Yeah.
And you can just see Christine get to the balcony, and she's like, "God damn it,
whatever,
Steven." Yeah. And I'm like, "What do you want her to do? What do you want him to do, Christine?
Just leave it?
Do you want him to die? Like, do you want him to just let people die? This is his job. This is why the two of you aren't together, okay?" Yeah. And maybe that's what she's rolling her eyes at, but.
Yeah. She's like, at my wedding, of all places.
Yeah, because he summoned Gargantos. So we get the first fight scene.
We get a fight with Doctor Strange. We get Wong. We get Octopus.
Wong.
And it's fun.
I love him so much.
Wong is
he's the
perfect.
Best.
Yeah, he's great. I'm glad that we had more of him in this movie, for sure.
Yeah, and we get a new thing for Doctor Strange, which is that their magic has like weapons at the end of it sometimes. Like real world, like metal weapons, which I appreciated that they added some tactileness to the fighting.
Yeah, they have like interchangeable attachments for their like power.
Yeah, and they don't have a great plan.
No, they kind of like make a mess, and it doesn't go great, but they do win because they stab the eyeball and it pops out, and it was.
Thank you, Sam Raimi.
Thank you.
That's one of those moments where I was like, that was one of the first moments when the eyeball gets pulled out by the spear of the bus sign, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, this is what we're...
Sam Raimi, they let Sam Raimi put his real hands into this, and I'm getting what I wanted.
Yeah. Before we like keep going on, this movie has, I think, probably the most graphic violence out of any Marvel movie.
I would say out of almost any superhero movie.
Yeah, like a lot of
outside of like Blade, but
yeah, or like some of the TV shows that are like really. But
which
well,
TV
The Boys.
Shows? Oh, I'm not considering like of like Marvel and DC properties.
Yeah. It is violent.
Yeah, it's not invincible violent.
No. But like I wasn't anticipating it, right? Marvel has a kind of thing that they do and a vibe that they follow, and it was nice that it was a little bit different. That being said, it means the movie may not be for everyone. That is one of the reasons.
That doesn't seem to be the case considering it's going to make all the money.
Well, I'm sure it's going to make money. I'm just saying there are a couple reasons why I could completely understand why some people don't like this movie, and that is one of them.
I agree with that.
But yeah, they defeat the octopus.
I like the sequence in this fight where Wong and Doctor Strange are just like dangling from magic that is stuck in the octopus as it chases America up a building.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of swinging there, like trying to figure out what they're gonna do, looking at each other like, we messed up. But they do win, obviously. And America's like, I am America Chavez. And they're like, cool.
There's only one of me in the entire multiverse.
Very cool. Very cool.
That is fun.
And they're like, you know what? Did you see the runes on that thing? That wasn't our magic. That was witch magic, which I guess is different.
You know what? If anyone knows, they know.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go with it.
I was just like, are the things they draw when they do like their hand signals not runes? I found this to be a weird, because we don't ever see Scarlet Witch use runes. We only saw Agatha Harkness use runes. And so it's just I was like, okay, cool.
You know what? True. Although there are runes in the book. I'm assuming it's like a complex language, like Chinese and Japanese are completely different letters, but they're complicated in a sense that you could see that they look different because they are different languages. So I'm assuming.
Oh, but they share some kanji.
But they, yeah.
Okay.
That
so
is
it's
my
like
guess.
They're both magic that stems from like an original language that has been split off.
Yes.
Okay. I could buy that.
That's kind of the vibe that I got. I was like, okay.
It was just kind of weird to have them be like, oh no, that's that different magic, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What kind of magic do you guys do? I think part of the problem with the MCU is that I don't really understand what kind of magic is what sometimes. And I think they've left it intentionally vague that way so that they can kind of do what they want with it.
Yeah.
But because of that, sometimes the stakes of like who can do what is a little weird. Yeah. We'll get to a fight later in this movie that I was like, sure. Sure.
Right, yeah.
So Doctor Strange is like, well, you know who does know witch magic? We know a witch.
Mm-hmm. Maybe she can help us.
Yeah. And so he goes to visit Wanda, and she's just pruning some beautiful trees. Some cherry blossoms, if you will. Because you know how hard it is to find cherry blossoms.
None of you understand.
That's just a dig at my wife. And no, she's pruning apple trees, and Doctor Strange is like, we got this girl with us. And he tells her about the situation, and then Wanda's like, oh yeah, why don't you just bring America here? And you get the moment where it's like record scratch. Doctor Strange is like, ooh. And Wanda's just like...
She's like, you didn't tell me what her name was. And then all the trees disappear, and you get this rad shot of it just, like, melting away into this, like, barren, red...
It was Mordor.
Dark, like... It was Mordor. Yeah. That's... Yeah.
It was Mordor.
That's it.
And
Makes
so
sense.
we have the Scarlet Witch, and she's like...
I would rather fight Sauron than the Scarlet Witch, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, the Sauron literally never wins a fight. Sauron loses every fight he's in.
No.
On video.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I feel like if you cut off Elizabeth Olsen's finger, she would still be able to beat the shit out of you.
Yep.
But Sauron...
Yeah, that finger.
Yeah, if he doesn't have his wedding ring, it's like, oh my god.
He just gets flustered.
Yeah, he's like, no, my memories of Celebrimbor.
God.
There is an element of Lord of the Rings where it's like a group of straight men travel a long distance to take down like the king of the gays.
The leader of the LGBTQ mafia. The Rainbow Mafia. Oh God.
So
Anyways.
she's basically like, I'm coming to Kamatage. And Doctor Strange is like, we're not gonna like give you this girl so that you can kill her. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, and she's like, well, I guess you're choosing the hard way then.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm being merciful. So we get a huge battle at Kamatage where, and this is the first point where I was like, the Darkhold has to be massively corrupting her because she's killing like, there's no moral rightness in what she's doing.
Yeah, she absolutely massacres.
And it's great. This fight was like...
Oh, yeah. The fight, awesome. The shield was very reminiscent of the, like, Harry Potter bubble shield. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that. But the concept of it, I feel like, is pretty common throughout, fantasy magic stuff. The fight was rad.
The MCU loves to have a shield. Like, the shield around Wakanda, like, they loved, like, energy forces. Yeah,
I get it. It's a good device to be able to use. Mm-hmm. There's a good conversation between her and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And then we see a bunch of sorcerers die.
Yeah,
she
violently.
Like, can't get through the shield, which I thought was kind of interesting. And she's like, you know what? She just, like, scares the one guy.
Well, and the way they shot her popping around his body.
Oh my god!
There were screams in our theater. Like there were people like, ah!
Yeah.
That was not the time that I screamed, but there were screams.
You did.
I got real good by one of the jump scares.
Yeah.
And so we get this big fight. It's great. I'm not gonna go through it all, but they get Wanda trapped into a mirror dimension.
I love when the random cannons just appear out of nowhere.
I think they teleport in from because the London and Hong Kong embassies show up. Oh. And I think that they're teleported in from Hong Kong.
Oh, I thought they were like had a like invisible shield in front of them, and they were just like
no, because it looked like they like came up out of like a circle. And so what I think it was that and because they had the like dragon mouth design, it felt like the other embassies were sending their like best things to this, and I really love that. I love they've had this idea that the Sanctum Sanctorum has these multiple locations, and bringing that into this was really fun. I wish we could have spent more time with the delegates from those. They kind of were like, we're here, and then they never seen again.
Well, yeah, because this movie just moves
It didn't have time for anything. And if you don't like the movie because it didn't have time for anything, understood.
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I like it. This is one of those movies where people are gonna be like, I didn't like Doctor Strange 2, and I'm gonna be like, I get it, and they're gonna be like, oh, so you didn't like it either? I'm like, no, I loved it.
Yeah.
I love this movie. It was fantastic. One of my favorite sequences in the whole movie, they trap Wanda in the mirrors, in the mirror dimension, thinking that she can't get out.
And she uses them.
Yeah.
She's so smart. She's like, okay, I'm going to use reflections then. Get wrecked, nerd.
Yeah.
And it's horrifying.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
I love Sam Raimi so much. The sequence, like...
So smart.
Just, I felt it in my bones. The one time where America Chavez, they're like covering the reflections, because apparently the Cumberbatch just has water everywhere.
They're just puddles.
I was like, wow, they need to like...
They need a plumber.
They would have so much water damage.
I know.
It's an old building already, right? Like,
yeah.
That's the landlord special.
Yeah, you need to get a contractor in to fix that ASAP.
Yeah, ever since Wong took over as the Sorcerer Supreme, things have been falling to shit in Cumberbatch. I'm telling you right now.
Wow.
Stephen Strange would not have allowed.
Not Team Wong. Team Wong.
No, I'm also Team Wong.
I'm Team Benedict.
That's easy. It's really easy to be Team Benedict when they're both Benedict. I actually think that the storytelling of Wong being the Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange being the thorn in his side is a more interesting version of these two characters.
Oh, yeah.
And I like it. Oh, I think it's such a good choice because Doctor Strange has such a domineering personality.
Yes.
That when he is also the person in charge, it just kind of becomes a little one note.
It's too much. Yeah.
And so the relationship between Benedict and Benedict, the relationship between them in this movie being that his domineering personality butts up against the person in power being this person who he never looked down upon, but treated callously, I think, at times.
Yeah.
Leads to a relationship dynamic as it is growing that I love more and more and more with each iteration. Mm-hmm. It also means that in the MCU, we can have Doctor Strange be a little bit more of a chaotic force, which is where he's more interesting than if he's actually in charge of things, where you kind of, he's like burdened by responsibility.
Yeah.
And so by giving Wong the burden of responsibility and him being a more straight-laced character, it makes more sense in their interactions, how they move through this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a really smart call on the part of the MCU.
Oh, yeah. I'm so happy with that choice. And I love the, just the snide, it's customary to bow and stuff between them. Mm-hmm. It's fun. The two of them together, magic.
Yeah, and
literal
honestly,
magic.
Wong gets to be awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
The way that everyone, the way he runs this battle, Doctor Strange is obviously Doctor Strange is like his muscle almost, right? But Wong is the brains. Doctor Strange is not the brains of this operation. He's a very intelligent man in some ways, but Wong is the brains of this battle, and it really shows. And I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you cannot keep the Scarlet Witch in the mirror dimension, and so she breaks out. America Chavez gets scared again, so she pops through a dimension. Doctor Strange goes with her, but Wong doesn't.
Yeah, because Wong got knocked out.
Yeah, and so Wong gets gets the Obi-Wan treatment where he's hanging by light beams in the air.
Yeah, he gets captured.
And Count Dooku walks in and is like, "This is a mistake. They've gone too far. This is madness."
So this is where we get the sequence of falling through the multiverse, right? Which is really, really fun.
Were we paint?
Yeah.
Were we paint?
The paint was cool. The animation one was very fun.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting choices, and it was done so beautifully.
I was surprised we didn't go to an animation style that was the What If animation style. Because I think that a lot of people are expecting more What If in this, and we do get some. Obviously, we get Captain Carter, but I think people were expecting the Doctor Strange at the end to be the Doctor Strange from What If, and it's clearly not, right? And I think that they were also expecting it to be the Captain Carter from What If, and it's not. Yeah. So it is interesting.
It is Illuminati Captain Carter.
Yeah. Well, and it might be the one from What If, but there was no reference to her being the same Captain Carter as What If.
Yeah. So we're not sure on that.
So that was an interesting choice, but the animation style being kind of closer to the 1960s Spider-Man animation. Was an interesting choice. Yeah, and the music. This is one of the scenes, we haven't talked about the score yet, but the score in this movie is unreal.
Yes, the sound design and the score are one of the best from an MCU movie, and probably just a movie in general that I've ever seen.
This is my favorite Danny Elfman score in probably a decade.
Wow.
This reminds me of the joy of 90s and early 2000s Danny Elfman scores, where they, I think that Danny Elfman started to realize that people were like, oh, this is a Danny Elfman thing. And I feel like he got a little bit more he started to write music that it was better suited to just like helping the film that it was in along and not standing out as much. And I think that Danny Elfman really shines when his scores pop out of the film.
Yeah.
Like this, like Nightmare Before Christmas, like, you know, like some of those famous scores. The Spider-Man score from 2001 or 2000 was Spider-Man. It doesn't matter. So the Danny Elfman score really pops out of this movie in a way that I could take all the dialogue out of this film and just watch the visuals and the sound, and it would be a wonderful experience.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I love that.
But they do finally land in a universe of where red means go.
Oh, we did forget the one crucial part where before all that happened, they did find Doctor Strange's body from the
they do. Yeah. They bury him.
They bury him in our world, which is important later. Obviously, you already know that. But yeah, they're in this like green New York.
Yeah, what New York looks like in every single ad for condos in New York City.
Look at how much plants we're going to put on this. And
Look at how many plants are everywhere. And then they build the building and nobody puts plants on the balconies, so it doesn't look like that. Because the balcony belongs to the condo owner, not to whatever, it doesn't matter. It's beautiful. The eternal lie of condo building. Yeah. But we get this beautiful New York that has pads on the street that if you walk on, they'll play your most traumatic memories for everyone to watch.
Yeah. Weird choice.
It's a weird choice, but in a movie that was moving so fast, it was such a necessary bit of character development for America Chavez.
It was, but it was also like the most convenient thing. You know what I mean? Like
1,000%.
That moment, I was like, okay, you didn't want to have a monologue, soliloquy, like you didn't, right? So they're gonna step on a circle on the ground, and it's gonna play their memory. Oh, okay.
I feel like
fine.
They could have done it that like they like pop into a universe where you can see your own memories, and then when America Chavez is
private cubicle.
Yeah. Well, because they're like, you know, the monologue from the building is like, you can experience your memories at the lowest cost ever. And I was like, the lowest cost ever is literally free.
It's literally free because neither of them pay anything, and we get to see two very long and important memories. In the middle of the street.
But importantly, gay moms.
Yeah.
We get homosexuality in the MCU.
Well, I saw...
And not in the background, in the forest of foreground.
Yeah, it was nice.
The forest of foreground. Yeah, I loved it.
The pride pin I noticed even before that happened, and I turned to you, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I don't know the character, and so you were like, well, yes,
she's gay.
She's got two moms.
And she's also a homosexual.
Makes sense.
I think she might be bi. I can't remember.
Anyway, she's queer.
It doesn't matter.
I think she's
nice,
queer.
and honestly, Kevin Feige has come out and been like, no, it's an important part of her character. We weren't going to cut it. We weren't going to dwell on it because the character in the movie's 14, and it's not worth like kind of putting too much time into that right now.
Yeah, it was never like gay.
Yeah.
Gay. Like, you know, sometimes.
But she is, and like I really appreciated that, and she's going to be in the Young Avengers. This is something that is going to be picked up later. You know, maybe we'll get some Kate Bishop, America Chavez relationships, and I'm
here for it. Yeah. But yeah, I do appreciate that it wasn't like, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. And it was just a part of the character, and it was a memory that she had, and it didn't matter. Well, right? It wasn't like Doctor Strange was like, two moms. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been weird. But he's just like, yeah,
it would have been super weird if he like turned around and was like, I understand the pin now.
Yeah, like you don't need that. And I think that artists are getting better at just inclusivity that's not like, look at what I'm doing, you know?
I think that I'm going to push back a little bit on that.
Okay.
I think that artists have always been good at it. I think that corporate entities are getting better at including homosexuals without it being cloying.
That is valid.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that there are many independent artists who have been very good at representation for a very long time.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Yeah, it's the corporations that are finally catching up to the fact that we exist.
Hi. Yeah. So that was really nice.
We also
fortunate that this movie won't play everywhere. But
can you imagine, like, oh my God, they've got two moms. The country of Saudi Arabia cannot watch this movie. Well, America's headed that way. Give him a few years.
Anyways, moving on from that, because let's not.
The other, before we get into the Illuminati, because that's basically the next big thing, we do get the mandatory Bruce Campbell appearance. He is a cheese.
He's a pizza ball
vendor.
Yeah.
That Doctor Strange curses. So America Chavez steals from him.
Yeah, and it's like food is free in most universes.
And then it's not. And so she steals from him, and because he wants to get paid, Doctor Strange curses him to violently assault himself for 3
like 3
weeks.
weeks-ish.
Which is like a funny joke.
But just don't think about it at
all.
But
don't think about it, because it's also like...
It's also awful.
It's the worst thing Doctor Strange does in this movie.
Well, like, what would you do? Like, could you sleep? Could you use the bathroom?
It's like, so egregious.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So it's a funny bit, but don't think about it.
It's only funny because it's like, if it was anybody else, it wouldn't work to me. But because it's the Bruce Campbell moment, it is Sam Raimi beating up on his friend a little bit, and like the real world relationship of that is what makes it okay to me.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, because I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, oh, that I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but
and
it's not meant to work.
It leads to the second post-credit scene the second post-credit scene, much like the I think it's the Spider-Man Far From Home one, where Captain America sits down and is like, patience doesn't always pay off.
Yeah.
I think that it's like that, where it's like the second post-credit scene is very funny, and it pays off this kind of weird moment where Doctor Strange is like, I cursed him to torture himself for 3 weeks, with like this grin that you're like, dude, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, and it only works, I think, because it does come around full circle, and it's meant to be a joke where they're like poking fun at you. But if it hadn't, that I would have felt really weird about it. So
yeah, it was weird. Yeah. But it's the Bruce Campbell. Yeah. Anyway, so they go see Mordo, who looks really hot.
Well, they go to like the museum.
No, they go to the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Oh, but there's like a statue of Doctor Strange outside.
In this universe, he's dead.
Yes, he's dead.
And Mordo opens the door, and Doctor Strange is like, he wants to kill me. And then he's like, brother! And you're like, oh no, this hurts. This hurts.
This hurts a lot.
Because what's weird is we get 0 Mordo in this movie. 616 Mordo. Which means they're definitely saving him for the third one. Benedict Cumberbatch has come out and said that he plans on playing Doctor Strange for many more years.
Oh, good.
Like, he loves playing this character, so of course he does. It's so easy.
Wouldn't?
He does this and gets like $10 million. He's just walking around like...
Hire me.
Do you think he ever is like in his house and like wants to open a door and he's like really tired and like he just wakes up and he ever goes like...
Oh, shit.
What am I doing?
God, I hope
When it's like month 3 of filming one of these movies and he's doing this in his life and he's like, I don't have my sling ring. Mordo, they embrace. He's cute.
Yeah, and then he betrays them.
No, he doesn't. You can't betray someone you don't know. He does the right thing. He betrays...
He literally drugs them so he can lock them in cages.
Because their existence in his universe will ultimately destroy his universe.
Okay, so then why doesn't he just help them get back as opposed to forcing them to stay caged in this universe?
Because he doesn't know if they have diseases that might kill everyone in his universe. So they need to be studied to make sure that they don't murder everyone.
I mean, it's too late already. They've been there.
Okay, if but like they've infected like a block and a half of New York, they'll be fine. Like it's Christine Palmer needs he does the right thing. If someone pops into your universe, you isolate them.
Why?
So that your universe doesn't die.
Do they know about multiversal diseases?
Yes. They know that Doctor Strange created an incursion that wiped out a timeline. They know that happened. Of course they're going to be careful. They don't know what's possible. So you are careful. And this is also a man who had to have his best friend, Doctor Strange, murdered because the man made bad choices that ultimately were good choices. But like we'll get to that when we get to it. But I agree with him. Doctor Strange is dangerous. So he can't just ask, because Doctor Strange would be like, no, I'm not going to come to the Illuminati with you. That sounds insane.
Okay, well, he locks him up.
Yeah.
And
Christine is there with red hair.
Yeah.
We get Ginge Christine.
Looks very
cute. You know, I like redheads.
She's very like cold Christine, because obviously
her version of Strange
died, yeah.
And she knows the truth.
Yeah. And that's tough.
He held the Darkhold.
Yeah, that is tough. She's been through some shit. So we meet the Illuminati.
So we're going to stop here. And we're going to jump all the way back to the other universe. So Wong is hanging out. And the good lady, Wanda, is floating in the air. She's cross-legged. And she is looking at the Darkhold. And they're like, what's going on? And she is dreamwalking to another universe. She's basically putting her consciousness into the body of Wanda that is in the universe that Doctor Strange is in.
We find out that dreaming is you, like momentarily kind of breaking the barriers between universes.
So she lucked out that they went to a universe where Wanda is alive.
Yeah, that is very lucky.
She really lucked out. Unimportant. So, Doctor Strange is pulled in front of the Illuminati, and this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm sorry it took us 35 minutes into this review to get here, but this is it, right? This is the thing. No, before this. I cried. The moment I cried.
Oh,
everyone wants to know, what is the
cried.
word? What is the word in this movie that broke me? And it was when Christine, they're in the glass boxes, and Christine goes, something, I don't even remember what the line is, but she basically goes like, ever since I started working at the Baxter Foundation, and I heard the word Baxter, and I freaked out.
Yeah.
Like, I literally went like, oh! And no one else caught it in the theater. No one else made a noise. And I was literally like in my seat, like, no, John Krasinski's gonna be Mr. Fantastic. Like, the rumors are true, because I was not spoiled on this movie, thank God. And I literally started to cry. I was so excited. And then he's like, the Illuminati will see you now. And they take him upstairs, and John Krasinski, with his gorgeous ass face, is just sitting in a chair in the Fantastic Four suit, being all Reed Richardsy, and I was like, God damn, what? And I'm crying because I'm a nerd. And we go down the line, and we get Lashana Lynch is back from the first Captain Marvel movie. And so she is the Captain Marvel in this universe.
Captain Carter.
No. Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Sorry.
Which means that in this universe... She was Monica
Rambeau. Yeah.
Yes. Was she? Yes. No, she's Maria Rambeau. Her daughter's Monica.
Oh, Maria Yes. You're right.
No, it's fair. Giving them both M names, not fair.
Yeah. Maria, Monica, just yes, I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, but so Lashana Lynch, so this means in this universe, when they did the test flight, Maria was with Marvell and not Carol Danvers, which is very cool. But does that mean that in this universe, Carol Danvers' daughter is Photon? Doesn't matter. We're not going to see this universe ever again, I doubt. No. It keeps trying to cross. We get Haley Atwell, Captain Carter. She's live action, and she's perfect.
She looks so good. That suit is amazing. I want that movie.
And we keep panning down the line. And we get the least expected member of the Inhumans. The one that wasn't even rumored. And the one that, if you had asked me, if you were like, what's the least likely thing for this movie to reference? I would have been like, oh, that's easy. It's the ABC television show, The Inhumans, because it was awful. Listen up, Internet.
ABC?
Listen up. Yeah, listen up. I want to be very clear. Kevin Feige, this isn't your fault. I need you, Kevin Feige. Okay. I need you to know this isn't your fault. I know. No. But it's not. It's not your fault, Kevin Feige. This is Ike Perlmutter's fault, because I paid money. I paid real human American dollars to see The Inhumans premiere in IMAX because I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought that show was fantastic. And so I gave over my cashola. It was like $19.99 American. It was a lot of money to go to that IMAX screening. And that show was bad. There was not a good thing in that show, except the casting of Anson Mount. And so if you're going to bring one thing out of it, you bring Anson Mount.
Yeah, it makes sense. He was having a good day because Star Trek also premiered same
Strange
day.
New Worlds, premiere of the new episode. Yeah. And it was universally well received. We're going to be covering that soon. We haven't seen it yet. We are going to do spoiler chats.
We're going to watch it, I promise. I'm so sorry. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then another Enterprise captain shows up, and we get Jean-Luc Picard.
That's true. Yeah, we get Picard and Pike.
Yep.
We just needed like Chris Pine to show up as someone so that we could have had Kirk, Picard, and Pike.
Imagine?
William Shatner. No, we get William Shatner, and he comes out as the Thing. He's Ben Grimm.
No. And Picard, he's got the fancy chair. He's got a new captain's chair.
It's okay. I love the cameos.
Yeah.
The chair, I love that they went with the original chair. Like, I get it. I do understand it.
It was a lot.
It was big.
It didn't look great.
It didn't fit in with everything else that was in this universe.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, honestly, the chair was the only thing that felt like a pushed in cameo. Yeah. Everything else felt really natural. I was like, oh yeah, we're in this alternate universe. We have an Illuminati of people who would be on the Illuminati. Like, everything made sense. And then the chair came out, and I was like, I wish that they had...
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah. I wish that they had kept the vibe of the yellow and, like, done that, but, like, made it look a little bit more in line with this, like, utopian future New York that they built.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But
he's perfect.
We get this scene where the Illuminati's like, Doctor Strange bad. Basically, is how that happens. Like, oh, you.
It's a little bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
Basically, their version of Doctor Strange in the face of Thanos used the Darkhold to try and take out Thanos. It didn't work. He destroyed an entire universe, and so they had to build a portal to the Book of Vishanti, we didn't even talk about the MacGuffin at the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, America Chavez and Defender Strange are trying to get the Book of Vishanti.
Yes, there's a book that basically gives you whatever power you need in the moment to do what you got to do, and they need to...
It's a MacGuffin. And like many Marvel MacGuffins, it doesn't work. Crazy how they do that.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
They don't trust him, which is understandable. But then Wanda starts dreamwalking, and she's attacking the building. And so the Illuminati's like, we got to go fight Wanda. Yes. We have a magic user who can fight the magic user. How about Mordo, you stay behind and watch your friend. The rest of us without magic are going to go fight Wanda.
Yeah.
This was the most nonsensical moment in the whole movie to me. I was like, guys, Mordo is the one person that actually can, like, match her with magic. Yeah.
That actually can...
I'm sorry, Reed, but you have stretchy powers.
Yeah.
You are Stretch Armstrong. You are very smart.
Yeah. To be fair, they're just super cocky. They're like, oh, the Scarlet Witch, we can handle that, no problem. You, on the other hand, Doctor Strange, you're very dangerous. We can't trust you. Which, like, okay, I get it.
He's in cuffs.
Murder an entire universe accidentally.
He did not. He did nothing.
Fair. Yes. Yeah. So I was about to say Wonder Woman. Captain Carter.
No, Wonder Woman was in the finale of Moon Knight.
Yeah, no, you're right. My bad. So Captain Carter, Blackgar Boltica, is that his name?
Blackagar Boltagon.
The Boltagon, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
And
his name's Black Bolt.
Captain Marvel and Stretchy Man go and try to fight the Scarlet Witch.
Do not disrespect Reed Richards like that. Don't do it.
I knew you'd like that one. They go off and they fight and they leave Doctor Strange there. And basically, Charles Xavier is like, you know what? You seem okay. You can go find the book over here that I know you need.
This made me cry. Yeah. This gave me, like, do you remember the scene? You remember the scene. I know you do. In Fellowship of the Ring, where Gandalf is like, bad things happen in all lifetimes. It's about what we do with our time that I'm so misquoting it.
It's what we do with the time that is given to us that matters. Yeah, basically.
It's the quote from our wedding invitations. So I should remember it more.
Oh, yeah. We did put that on our wedding invitation.
We did. It's also the quote at the bottom of my website.
Well, we could just pull up the website.
We can pull up my acting website. We just go to DearDavidWebb.com.
And then we'll just have the quote.
There's a beautiful photo of me as a pirate.
It's beautiful.
All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you.
Yes.
This, oh my God.
Well done.
This is not me. I need to update my website so bad.
Moving on.
So we get the Charles Xavier moment that made me cry for cry number 2. If you're keeping track at home. And we cut back to Reed Richards. He is confronting Wanda and he's like, hey, don't. And she's like, oh, do you have kids? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, is their mother still alive? And he's like, yes. And she's like,
good, there will be someone left to raise them.
I threw that to you and you dropped that ball.
I know, I'm sorry.
You dropped the Skittles all over the pasture. It's a farming term. Don't worry about it. So Lashana Lynch gets all cocky because apparently her version of Captain Marvel is just even. I think they saw the complaint that Captain Marvel, because some people think that Captain Marvel, the Brie Larson version, is too cocky, and they're like, what if we crank that up to like 46?
It's over 9,000. Yeah.
And she's like, Anson or Blackagar Boltagon here can kill you with one word out of his mouth.
And Scarlet Witch is like, what mouth?
It's honestly her best line in the whole movie.
Oh, it's great. And then there's the zoom out on reveal for his face with the no mouth is horrifying. And then you watch him explode his own head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Marvel, they went for it.
A lot of teenage boys try to do the same thing, but with a different head. So.
Oh my God. That was not your best. But I will forgive you, and we can move on and pretend it never happened.
So yeah, then she turns Reed into a bunch of pool noodles.
Yep.
So that was horrifying.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, the Black Bolt death is the most violent death in the whole movie.
Absolutely, I agree.
Just because you can see like his emotion prior to death is still etched into his face after he dies, and his eye just like twitches down, and then he just, oh my God, it's. Yeah.
And then so
awful.
Captain Carter gets in a few hits at least. You know, she holds her own for a moment before getting sawed in half with her own shield.
Yeah. Which
they didn't like show that, which I was grateful for, but her face, like the acting of it, and oh my God.
Haley Atwell's perfection.
So well done. And the only one who can kind of stand up to Scarlet Witch is Captain Marvel. And then suddenly Captain Marvel dies because a statue falls on her, which doesn't make any sense to me because I thought she was invincible. I thought...
It didn't seem like she took enough hits for that to be the, like...
I was just, it kind of felt too easy. It was like the movie was like, crap. Like, this is going to take some time, and we have stuff to cover, so let's just...
So my thing with it is the moment with Black Bolt was so creative... that I was and honestly, the shield cutting Captain Marvel in half, or Captain
Carter.
God damn.
I know.
The Captain Carter in half was creative. The Reed Richards moment has been done before.
Yeah,
and so it's not the most creative, but I was hoping the Captain Marvel thing would be more creative in terms of how she took out Captain Marvel, and it kind of wasn't.
Especially because Wanda has been incredibly creative this whole time with the like mind getting through the shield, with the sorcerers.
She's kind of like they energy beam each other, and one of them loses.
Yeah, that one was a little bit lackluster. I didn't love it, but there was so much else around that moment that I did really love. I was like, all right, willing to.
And so the giant yellow chair comes out the doorway again, and Captain Xavier pops into Wanda's imagination.
Palace. Yeah.
And we get the reference. If you haven't seen WandaVision, this probably didn't hit that hard. But if you have seen WandaVision, you know, like that's where the Stark bomb. That's where she was when like her family died.
And the TV.
It's the rubble of her house, right?
Yeah, and the TV that's there playing
WandaVision.
Yeah.
Which was a nice touch.
No, it was brilliant. It was so good because it was just like stark white, and then just some piles of rubble, like, and the door. So well done, and
the beauty of the red, like the violence. But beauty of the red cloud, like, surging into the room.
Yeah,
as the evil Wanda comes in and then just snaps his neck. Like, it's
horrifying.
Wild.
But we get, like, the Wanda that's trapped inside this body.
This Universe A38's Wanda.
Wanda is, like, stuck under this pile of rubble, and Xavier's trying to get her out because maybe she can, like, fight herself, right? And kind of break the connection. But nah, Scarlet Witch comes in, and she's like, and Xavier goes down. And she goes after America.
No, she doesn't, because America's gone.
No, but that's where she
pops her neck, and America. So Christine Palmer has broken America out because Doctor Strange was like, "Don't you let her die."
Yeah.
And Christine was like, "I don't care about you. Okay, I need you to know I don't care about you."
I don't care about you. But then she does save America. She breaks her out of the tank, and
while all this is happening, Doctor Strange and Mordo. Doctor Strange eggs Mordo into fighting him. Of course, Mordo does it because Mordo likes to fight Doctor Strange. That's what they do. And Doctor Strange wins, I guess.
Yeah.
And he runs into Christine and America in a hallway, which is very fortunate. And then Christine has the key to his binders, which was also very fortunate.
I mean,
he's got the one binder on, so he can't use magic, and so he like runs into her and she's like, "Oh hey," and he's like, "Oh," and she's like, "Oh yeah," and then she like undoes it, and I was like, "Oh okay." I mean, that was nice.
It makes sense that she was the one to put them on when it's like her lab, right? It's her lab that she's like studying them in. I didn't think that
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Convenient. It made sense to me, but that's just me. But yeah, she does.
I just would have figured Mordo would have them. But then because Mordo is left. I guess Mordo is left alive. Because Wanda doesn't chase him, so he's probably he's probably no. You know what? He's still in that pit in that room. He doesn't know. He can't use magic.
He can never get out.
He's just banging his wrist like Quan Ha in that episode of Halo, trying to get the thing off of his wrist so that he can use magic and get out.
Hopefully, one of the robots is still alive. And
Christine Palmer, when she goes back at the end of the movie, she goes back and gets him.
Yeah.
And so the Illuminati is just one person now. So sad for that universe.
So sad.
I don't know what's gonna happen to them when Kang shows up, but they're probably screwed.
So they run through the building and they get to Doctor Strange's door to the Book of Ashanti.
Yeah, but let's not skip over Sam Raimi's incredible horror direction of this sequence.
Okay,
like
fair.
Closing the doors and her just breaking through them, and then closing that last door and she doesn't break through, and they're not running. They're like frozen in fear because nothing's happening. And she just whoosh, appears, and it's like it's a jump scare that scared them, and so Doctor Strange has to like bring the water down. Like, oh god, it was great.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Right. It was very, very well done.
We skipped over a whole thing.
We did?
Yeah. Remember, there's the lady sorceress who stabs the Darkhold. Yes. We skipped over the whole plotline where there's a whole subplot where the lady stabs the Darkhold and then she dies doing it, which is very violent. Yeah. And so Wanda takes Wong because he knows where because the Darkhold was a copy of an inscription that was written on a mountain.
On like the inside of like a temple on top of a mountain that you can't reach.
And so they go there. Wong takes her there because otherwise she's going to kill the green Minotaur dude from Shang-Chi.
Okay, that moment was super weird to me though because those guys were already dead.
No, some of them were still alive.
Oh, yeah. I thought she just like pulled a bunch of corpses off the ground and was
she pulled the ones that were like hurt but alive out of the rubble.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I thought she just like reanimated dead people, and I was like, Wong, why does it matter? They're dead.
And so basically Wong is hanging off of the mountain by a magic, or no, he's like at the bottom of the mountain hurt because she like throws him off. And these that was the giant jump scare. Creatures.
That's the one that got you. This guy screamed and scared the crap out of me.
The first one peers out of the darkness, and I went, ah!
Yeah.
Sorry, headphone users.
It was something.
So yeah, Wanda's actually, all of this dream walking is happening from there, not from the book.
Yes.
Okay, we need to just keep.
There is so much that happens in this goddamn movie. So they get to the Book of Ashanti, and Wanda destroys it. Wanda wins. She destroys it, and so America.
At the last minute, America is able to push. Or no, she opens a portal, and Wanda throws Strange and Christine through it.
Yes.
And so Strange has to fight himself. They have a music battle. The music battle is awesome.
Okay, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
I thought it was going to be the What If Strange from the trailers.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
The music battle is incredible. To the people on Twitter saying the music battle is the worst part of this movie, you're wrong. It's awesome. It's
so creative.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I don't get. People were like, "Oh, this movie didn't like make it wacky and strange enough." I'm like, there was some awesome stuff that was super creative in this.
They literally battled using the musical score of the movie.
No, it was amazing.
Like,
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it so much, and I think that moment really deserves recognition. And I wanna say it. I want it to be out there on the internet. I loved it.
And so he wins, obviously.
Yeah.
And he gets the Darkhold, and he's like, I'm gonna use the Darkhold. And Christine Palmer's like, don't do that.
Oh, another very violent death. He gets like stabbed.
Oh yeah, he gets thrown out the window. Oh, that was And Christine's like, oh hey, that's not my Strange. We're good. We're good. We're not. That's not my second Strange.
He's got like the third eye, so he's very easily distinguished.
She goes up. She's like, we gotta not use the Darkhold. And he's like, I have to do this. You have to protect my body. And to the people saying Christine Palmer does nothing in this movie, in this moment.
People are saying.
So there is a TikToker who I like, who I am friends with on TikTok, who said that if she was replaced by a houseplant, you wouldn't notice.
A houseplant could break America Chavez out of the tank? Very interesting.
Or could a houseplant know Strange so well that she knows what the magical items in that room are and is able to fight the demons of hell
with the torch thing?
With the candle cannon?
Yeah, that's a bad take. I don't know who your friend is on TikTok.
I think Rachel McAdams is literally fantastic in this movie. Yeah. I think that she sells all of the all of the character growth that happens to Doctor Strange in this movie happens because of this version of Christine.
Yes.
She's absolutely vital to this film.
Absolutely.
And I don't agree with that take at all.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. Wait, oh.
So Doctor Strange,
Fine, it's just gas.
No, I don't know what it was. That was hurt.
I know, I'm sorry.
So Doctor Strange... America Chavez is in the Temple of the Darkhold.
Yes.
Being very slow, having her power slowly extracted out of her by the Scarlet Witch. So Doctor Strange sends his body, I don't know, it's probably a lot of power. It probably, it's like a battery, right? You can only sap it out so fast. She didn't pay Apple for the larger charging brick, so she can only get the power out of her 60 watts, not 90.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But if you with a company that isn't Apple, it can get up to 120.
Dang, Scarlet Witch should have gone with the third party.
No. Here's the thing. Fast charging is a fad that's going to go away in like 2 years.
Well, if you only need to do it once.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Actually, no. If you only need to do it once. The thing about fast charging, and I know that nobody cares about this. This is a Doctor Strange review. But fast charging is bad for the battery in your phone, and it makes your battery
Fun fact.
Die faster.
Brought to you by our knowledge from Linus Tech Tips. Thank you. So she's getting the power sapped out of her, and Doctor Strange, what he decides to do is he's like, I'm going to use the Darkhold. Christine, you got to watch my body because, the spirits of the dead are not going to like that I'm inhabiting a corpse. So he dream walks into the corpse of the version of him from the beginning of the movie that is buried underneath some stones in our, what is it, 616?
616.
616. And just, is a zombie. And of course, these like black specter
Not our
things.
universe.
Sorry, not our universe.
Our universe is a universe in the MCU.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So no, because there's a comic run where someone, I think it's Gwenpool.
Oh, finds our universe?
Or she's from our universe, goes, I can't remember. But yeah, our universe is the one where there are no powers in the MCU. And so our universe exists.
Fun,
yeah,
okay.
Not in the MCU, but in Marvel Comics, our universe does exist.
That is actually kind of very cool. So Doctor Strange Zombie goes to
It's so cool. It looks great. He's decomposing so fast.
He's got some...
And so these demons are like attacking, and Christine... And this is where I'm like, how could you replace this with the houseplant? Strange is like losing it. He's like shaking. And Christine is like, you are the master of the dark arts, of the dark magic, to quote Jason Inman. Listen to Geek History Lesson, especially if you want to know about Clea, the girl from the...
first post-credit sequence.
From the first post-credit sequence. If you want to know who Charlize Theron is, go to Geek History Lesson on any podcast and listen. Their episode 2 weeks ago is a full deep dive on Clea. Everything you want to know about Clea is in that episode. I haven't listened to it yet because... I know who Clea is.
We'll get around to it.
I get around to the ones who I'm familiar with later, but I love them. Jason and Ashley are literally incredible content creators. I adore them both. So
many shout outs in this.
We got to shout out the fellow content creators. But if you want to know more about Clea, go listen to that. And the dark magic joke, go listen to anything with Doctor Strange in it.
So they're battling these spirits, and
she's
Doctor
like,
Strange, she's like...
You're the master of the dark arts! Their spirits, use them!
And he does.
Yeah,
basically.
It's rad. He gets a cloak of souls of the damned. Like... Anyone who's like, this movie isn't that crazy. I'm like, Doctor Strange in his corpse. Doctor Strange is in his own corpse from another dimension, and he is using the souls of damned souls as a cape to fly. Because he doesn't have a levitation cloak.
Yeah.
Defender Strange doesn't have a levitation cloak. And so he needs the souls of the damned to be his cloak. And people are like, this movie's kind of like, I don't know.
So vanilla.
Yeah. It was kind of boring. I'm like, in what world?
In our world.
They use a cape of the souls of the damned to fly. It is the coolest shit ever. Yeah. And people are like, I don't know. I don't feel they did a lot with the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
What?
I don't understand that take. It's a take, and if you have it, well,
He flies with a cape. I can't, this was the moment where I was like, Sam Raimi created one of the coolest things in the MCU. Because
I loved it.
It's rad.
It was so out there and creative, and it looked amazing, and the way that it happened, I don't know, it worked for me, and so he flies using his cloak of souls to go fight the Scarlet Witch while she's draining America of her power. And also, Wong shows up.
Wong is now an Everest-level ice climber.
Yeah, he's just chilling on the side of a mountain. And one of those big hulking things that scared us from earlier, kind of looks at Doctor Strange and then gets shot.
Yeah.
With the magic, I don't grapple.
It's a sword that it's how like the sword has like the magic connection to it.
Yeah.
You know what it was? It was Kratos's arm weapons from the God of War games.
Yeah. That's it.
The other thing I loved about this shot when they first show Wong on the rocks at the bottom of the mountain, I was like, oh, it's the shot from Arrow. After Ra's al Ghul pushes, I was about to say Stephen Amell, but Oliver Queen off.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's cool. It's the same shot.
Yeah.
So they fight and they lose because Scarlet Witch is the best.
Scarlet Witch is a bamf.
But you know who can beat Scarlet Witch?
America Chavez.
No.
Oh.
No. Scarlet Witch can beat Scarlet Witch. I know. Here's the thing. This movie set up that she's this Terminator, right?
Yeah.
She is undefeatable. How do you beat her? And I love the end of this movie. I love that Doctor Strange convinces America Chavez that she's been able to control all along. She just hasn't trusted herself.
Yes.
So she opens herself up to the universe.
She's got the power.
Yeah. She shows Wanda 838, the woman that she took over, right?
Yeah. She shows this like woman and her children who like they basically are like being broken into their home, and her children are so terrified of her because she is this evil witch. Literally. Like, witch, right? Like they're so scared and they want their mom. And
they're watching Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that moment.
No, it cuts to like
Disney.
as Wanda's walking through the portal and she's like, "Oh, my kids." The movie that they're watching is Sleeping Beauty, and I was like, oh, interesting choice.
Yeah.
Because that was intentional. Because it's in the credits too, right? That they use that. But I was like, oh, yeah, I guess they would use a Disney movie.
Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah,
it would have been really funny if they had been watching like Iron Man 1. Or if they'd been watching like Everything Everywhere All at Once. So it was like a multiverse movie in the screen.
That would be fun. Yeah, this moment...
they're watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man movie. That's what should have been playing.
That's very funny.
They should have had Into the Spider-Verse playing on that TV.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would have been distracting, but it doesn't matter.
It was like, it was the thing that like sold me on this movie.
Oh, 100%.
This moment choked me up, and it's, big credit to Elizabeth Olsen as an actress because she was so good. She was so good at playing the two different versions of herself and the fear and the loss and the connection she had when like Scarlet Witch is on her knees and she's just broken, like so utterly broken. And the other version of her, the Wanda version of her, is like, no, that they're loved. They'll be loved. Yeah. And it's like I don't know what else you could have said in that moment, but that was the thing, right? That like. Oh my God. I was like, I'm not going to cry.
Realizing this, she needed to see this moment in order to have the inner strength to overcome the hold that the Darkhold had on her.
She needed to realize what actually she was doing, because she'd kind of just been like, had blinders on this whole time. No. This is the goal, and I don't care who gets hurt in the process. But as soon as she saw like her children, the people she actually cared about, and them with their actual mother, it was like it broke her. And Scarlet Witch is defeated by Scarlet Witch with some help from America Chavez, obviously, to create that meeting, obviously, but so well done. And the moment where America gets to use her powers, it was really well done. I think that America Chavez in this movie is a little bit of a sidelined and underdeveloped character.
I agree.
That is kind of my probably biggest criticism of the movie, is that she just feels a little two-dimensional with the like random like background scene shoved in there, and then you can do it. You've been able to do it this whole time. Just a little tropey, and that wasn't my favorite. But it wasn't the story that they were trying to tell. The story that they were trying to tell was Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, and I was in for it.
We've gotten through most of the movie. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before we end here.
Yeah.
One, the line where Scarlet Witch is like, or where he's like, "You made your children with magic," and Scarlet Witch is like, "Isn't that what every mother does?" Loved it.
Yeah.
Really good writing. Really, just I that stood out to me so much, and I adored it. It that like sits on the same shelf with the what is grief if not love persevering? Like those kind of live in that same world in how they hit me. I also really love in the scene with before America brings, at the end of the movie, we cut back to Doctor Strange, who has left his corpse body behind. He's standing there with this version of Christine from a different universe. And they're talking about how they can't be together, right? They're from different universes. And Doctor Strange says, I love you in every universe. And that just was like a knife to the heart. Especially, we'll talk about why it gets like undone in a minute. But in that moment, perfection. Rachel McAdams in that scene, utter perfection. She's great in this movie. And yeah, America Chavez is a little underdeveloped, but I feel like that time was given to Christine, that time was given to Wanda, that time was given to Doctor Strange. There were a lot of characters that needed art time.
Yeah, they couldn't put more in the movie, and so I understand it. But
And I love that this movie, before we get into the post-credit scenes, I love that this movie dealt with Doctor Strange's feeling about the, like, there's one way out of this moment from Avengers Infinity War. Because it's a moment that has this huge emotional ramification on the entire universe, and we've never seen him deal with it. And he doesn't really, like, straight up deal with it. It's all subtext that is what this whole movie's about. But it's so obvious that that's what this movie is about. And they handle it in a way that by the end of this movie, he finds catharsis in the fact that he did the right thing. And I really, really appreciated that. It made for a conclusion to this film that I actually felt satisfied with. I felt like this movie, we're about halfway through this movie, and I was thinking, like, I don't know that this movie will have a satisfying conclusion. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And because they brought it back to the end of Infinity War in his emotional journey, I actually felt very touched. This is a movie where I don't think this works if you haven't seen all of the MCU and if you don't give a crap about the MCU. But as someone who does, and as someone who has been waiting for the emotional payoff at the end of Infinity War, to get it in this movie meant a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is like the key. That is the key to this movie. It's a story about Doctor Strange dealing with Infinity War and Scarlet Witch dealing with WandaVision. Yeah. And that is one of the other reasons why I don't think that this movie is for everybody. Yeah. You said that there was a few, the violence definitely one of them. The fact that you kind of have to have seen and be invested in most of the MCU for this to work.
Oh, for sure. My mom would walk out after the Illuminati scene.
Yeah.
She would hate the death of the Illuminati scene. It would be too much for her.
Yeah. And so that, and then the final thing that maybe makes this movie not for everybody is just that it is super fast paced.
The pacing. People are going to complain about the pacing. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed it as well, but that's what I'm saying. It's one of those things where, you know, if people are like, I didn't like that movie, I'll be like, I get it. I totally understand, and that's fair, but we were hot on it.
This is going to be an interesting comparison that I think that you're going to disagree with. This movie reminds me, pacing-wise, of The Rise of Skywalker. And has things, the things I like about The Rise of Skywalker are similar to the things I like about this movie.
Oh, yeah, no, I found Rise of Skywalker to be kind of boring.
I don't know how you can find The Rise of Skywalker to be boring. There's literally something happen every 4 seconds in that movie. Anytime anything needs to happen, something explodes. It kind of is Aquaman. Like, I put this movie next to like Aquaman and Rise of Skywalker in the terms of like they are blockbusters that sideline character growth a little bit in order to just have a very fast-paced plot where a lot of things happen and a lot of explosions and a lot of fun. And like I would put like I think that people who don't like Aquaman won't like this movie.
Interesting, because I also would not put Aquaman on the same. Like, I don't know if I have ever watched a movie that is this go.
I feel like Aquaman has that. Literally every scene in Aquaman ends with something exploding. Like, no, I'm not joking. Yeah. Almost every single scene in Aquaman ends with something blowing up and them running away from it to the next explosion.
Yeah. And that's fair.
And it also ends with this crazy underwater sea battle where there's like multiple armies and there's a giant kraken. Like in terms of like scope and speed of plot development, these are similar to me. And in like, we're gonna go after a MacGuffin for about an hour and a half that you're not really gonna care about. But once we get past that, the story gets interesting.
Yeah, fair.
This movie is the same. Where like once I get past the Book of Vishanti, because I was like, I don't want him to have a magic thing that beats Wanda. That's dumb. And then they don't do that, and I was like, thank you for doing something. Because if he just like gets the book and then his corpse reads the book and she loses, whatever. But this movie, by having her destroy the Darkhold, and in doing so destroy the Darkhold in all universes, so it doesn't exist anymore, because of her coming to terms with her own grief and realizing that she needed to make amends to the universe for what she's done, I feel like this movie's a much better film than if he had gotten the book and beaten her.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I absolutely agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look, guys, if you don't like this movie, we completely understand.
1,000%.
This was our thoughts on it, and obviously, I'm sorry it was a little bit long. There is, like we said, a lot that had happened in this movie. But if you dislike the movie for reasons that, like, we haven't said, I'd love to know in the comments. Like, you know, if there's things that you think that we overlooked or missed, I'm genuinely curious because, like I said, there is so much.
We talked about Clea already. The first post-credit scene, Charlize Theron is introduced as Clea, who I think is the Sorcerer Supreme in 616 right now. I believe.
Fun.
But
I like
she's
the purple.
Also a demon, so that's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, I'm into it. I love Charlize Theron anything, so I'm super excited to see how that goes.
I'm curious if that costume sticks.
Really?
Yeah, I think I have a feeling they're gonna. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's fun. I like it.
I think that costume, much like how Thanos was introduced in the post-credit scene, and then the next time we saw him, it just looked a little bit better because they spent more time on it. I think that when we see Clea again, it's gonna be the same costume, but it's gonna
be more refined.
Yeah, I think it needs like 2 more sips of refinery.
Sure.
And it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a little shiny right now. I think that they need to. Yeah. I think they need to make it fabric-y like Doctor Strange because they're gonna be side by side so much. I like the color a lot. But it was a little like. It looks like
a latex suit.
Well, it looked like she looked like an Eternal when she first stepped out.
She did, and I thought she was for a moment.
Yeah, which is not.
Don't recognize.
Well, I guess she could be in the MCU, but she's not. And so I would like for her to feel more like she lives in the Doctor Strange universe than she does in the Eternals universe.
Yeah, because both Wanda, both Doctor Strange have the more cloth, leather, heavier fabric as opposed to the latexy, slick superhero suit, right?
Yeah, and we also Doctor Strange gets his third eye.
He does get his third eye.
Yeah. Yeah. Which he's very concerned about.
Which I thought that it meant that he somehow the wrong Doctor Strange had died. I was very confused at that ending, and you're like, no, he does get the third eye in the comics. That's a thing. But as a non-comic book reader, I got very concerned in that moment that it was the wrong Doctor Strange, or that he had been taken over somehow, or something weird had happened with the spirits. Like I wasn't sure.
I would hate that.
So would I.
Because for a few reasons.
So I'm glad you told me that that's a thing from the comics. Because I was like, no.
It would also insinuate that in the cut between Doctor Strange getting blown out the window and him flying out the window, that the evil Doctor Strange had switched their places, cast a spell changing their facial hair to each other's facial hair.
Or
I was like, this is too much.
Somehow...
And he wouldn't know about what's going on with America Chavez. Like, I think he just gets his third eye.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, this doesn't work to me, which is why I'm very confused.
I think it's going to be something they have to deal with because I think that he gets
the Darkhold.
Yeah.
He read the Darkhold, and so he's got the third eye, and now he's going to have to deal with those consequences.
I think that the Darkhold's taint is still in the universe.
Yeah.
Even though the Darkhold is gone.
Fair. You know what? That is fair. And maybe the next Doctor Strange will be the Darkhold trying to make him, like, bring back the Darkhold into the world somehow.
Yeah.
Like, write it out.
The next one has to deal with Mordo. It has to. Yeah. Mordo has to be the villain of the next Doctor. Because we need to pay off. The end of that first Doctor Strange is so good. And, like, Mordo's such a great character. And you have such an incredible cast. Like, I think that the next Doctor Strange has to deal with what's going on with Mordo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's brought up. Doctor Strange in this movie is like, Mordo hates me, wants to kill me. And I'm like, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Please. Maybe a TV show. Disney Plus. Strange versus Mordo.
Great. I love it.
Dawn of Justice. Sorry. Strange v. Mordo. Dawn of Justice.
No, I don't.
And then at the end of the movie, they have to fight. They have to fight the Thing, who's a big CGI creature, and the Scarlet Scarab from Moon Knight shows up. And she's the Wonder Woman in that scene because she's got the X with the bullet blocking.
Oh my god!
I feel it sounds like I'm like making fun of that. I really like the Scarlet Scarab. I loved Layla in Moon Knight. The way she fought just so reminded me of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman that.
Yeah, she was like a really badass Wonder Woman, and I loved it.
Yeah, and she had the gold wings that I wanted to be cool in Wonder Woman 1984 that didn't work. In Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, didn't like it.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we end this? Because we've talked forever.
No, that is everything that I wanted to touch on.
Yeah. No Tom Cruise. No Superior Iron Man.
Thank God. Yeah. He's fine.
Really? I love Tom Cruise as an actor. As a person, I don't know.
I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm excited for that.
I think he's fine.
They played that Top Gun trailer before the movie. Mm-hmm. Top Gun Maverick looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's very fun.
Yeah. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, leave a mean comment down below, because if you got to this point, you're probably not going to leave a mean comment down below unless you're one of the people who leaves fake mean comments down below. Keep doing those, by the way, because all engagement becomes
good engagement.
Lil cat food, what is it? It's catnip for the algorithm gods, and we've got to get them high on catnip. Mm-hmm. So help us get YouTube high on catnip so that people watch our videos, so that we continue to pay our bills. Because this one shops, y'all. There is a package that arrives at our door like every day. It's
mostly for work and tax write-offs.
You can't say that it's for tax write-offs in the video.
Why?
Because the government's going to come for us.
Well, no,
the Illuminati is going to put me in handcuffs.
I can literally prove that it is a tax write-off because it's all work stuff. Yes, I shop a lot, but it's work stuff, I swear.
Okay, but you can't say it's for work and tax write-offs. You have to say it's for work and thus it is tax write-offs.
Okay, fine.
You make it sound like those are separate things, but they're the same thing. I just want to be... I'm Canadian government.
My bad.
I'm married to this woman. Please don't throw her in jail because I can't live without her. I would just die. There's no purpose in my existence without the woman to my left. If you want to follow her, you can over at Claris Polaris.
And if you want to follow this guy, at Nerdy Nightly.
I thought you paused because you forgot my ad.
Yes, I forgot what channel we're recording for right now.
Yeah, you've never forgotten anything on the video before.
I never forget anything.
You forgot my name on stream the other day.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye.